clearing close in the forest you'll find a fabulous banquet, a fairy ball. If you close your eyes and you open your mind, the veil disappears and you'll see it all.
Hi my angels, it's Hailey Reese and I have missed you guys so much, but I have definitely not neglected and not forgot about this channel. I've been working on some really amazing content that's going to be coming this week. I'm bringing back the haunted house series. I'm going to bring back my grams. I have a new series that I'm starting on here. Well, it's not really new, it's on the true crime thing, but I'm really excited because I've been working so hard to bring you guys the upgraded content that I promised you at the end of 2017. But with that being said, I honestly have way more content than days in the week. And as you guys know, lately I've been sharing a lot of your personal experiences that you guys have sent in to me and shared with me and really freaked me out with and intrigued me and just overall reassured me for the millionth time that we're not insane, these things are happening, and the paranormal does exist. So like I said, since I have so much content coming up, I thought I would share this one story with you guys from one of the Reese's pieces that just has me in chills like most of them do. I know I say that a lot, but it's truly the truth, because after this I have like 10 videos back to back that are really different but really cool, and I don't see another opportunity to share this for a little bit, so I'm really excited to share this story with you guys. Like I said, it's a freaky one, so sit back, relax, maybe turn a light on, and let's get into the story and the reason why you should never walk through a cemetery at 3 a.m. So first and foremost, before I get into this specific Reese's Pieces story, I want to give you guys a little bit of a background and an insight into, once again, 3 a.m. Now, a lot of people deem 3 a.m. as the devil's hour or an evil hour, but in actuality, 3 a.m. is the hour in which the veil is the thinnest. And what I mean by the veil is the veil between our physical dimension and our physical realm, our physical world, and the spiritual realms and different dimensions and that overall spiritual world and realm. 3 a.m. is the time when the veil becomes the thinnest between the two, and the veil is ultimately the divide between both sides. Now, in the veil being the thinnest, a lot of strong, powerful, and dark entities tend to take advantage of this hour, and it's kind of gotten a really negative reputation as to what goes on during this hour, just because when the veil is the thinnest, it's easiest for dark, evil, and negative things to come through and therefore possess, cause harm, present themselves, etc. So to visit a place where a physical body is resting that is disconnected from the spirit that was once occupying it during this hour in itself becomes a very creepy thought. Not because people in cemeteries are evil, and not because the spirits occupy the bodies anymore, because they don't. When you pass on, your spirit exits the body, but because it's an area that attracts spiritual activity in itself, because there are empty bodies and there are certain spirits that may still feel some sort of a connect to their resting spot, or just in general, it's a very high energy area. So a lot of paranormal activity occurs in cemeteries within itself, and on top of that, to visit it at a time like 3 a.m. where the veil is the thinnest, it can be a pretty freaky experience. And that is exactly what happened to Maddie and her younger sister, Grace. Now, this story is very freaky. I believe everything that Maddie has shared with me. I believe it because, for one, who am I to ever judge? I hope that people believe my stories, even if, you know, they're unbelievable. I really do appreciate that people believe what I've experienced, so I always want to believe what other people experience. But on top of that, I really don't believe in this family that any of us would lie to each other. I don't lie to you guys. I'm completely translucent and honest with you guys. And so I kind of not expect, but I believe that that's what we have as a family. So I truly, truly believe this story. So Maddie is actually 18 years old, and she has a younger sister by the name of Grace, who is 6. Now, Grace and Maddie actually have a really good relationship despite their massive age gap. And it's funny because Maddie told me that when she found out her mom was pregnant with Grace, she was really, really against the idea of having a sibling so much younger than herself. But the minute that Grace was born, she just had this complete attachment to her, and she was just her whole entire world. And she always felt this sense of needing to protect her. Now, Maddie lives at home with her mom and her dad, and obviously Grace lives with them as well, but not too far around the block, her grandma actually lives up the street, and between both of the homes is a cemetery. Now, back on Christmas Eve, the entire family had went to Maddie's grandma's house to spend Christmas Eve there. And I guess they have a really, really big family. All of them gather, they stay there super late, and it's a whole entire thing. And Maddie's parents always like to go to bed early. So they're all there at the grandma's house on Christmas Eve. This was just this past Christmas Eve. And I guess it was starting to get late, and it was about 1 a.m., but there was still a whole bunch of people there, and surprisingly, Grace was still wide awake, Maddie's still wide awake, but their parents were really, really tired. So their parents decided that they were going to walk home. Now, they wanted Maddie and Grace to come home with them, but because Maddie's 18, she convinced them that they would come home in the next hour or so, and that she would take care of Grace and take her home. So her parents agreed to this, and they stayed, and they were hanging out, and it was about 2:30 when she looked at the time and realized, Grace is little, I should probably be getting her home. And they got their shoes on, they got their coats on, and they decided to take the walk that was just around the corner to their home from their grandma's house. So Maddie was holding Grace's hand, and they began to leave, and normally they would walk around the cemetery to their home. But Maddie noticed a very creepy looking car, and she said it wasn't even that it was creepy, it was just that she's very, very protective of her younger sister, and she noticed this car slowly driving up the street, and then it would stop, and then it would slowly go again. And she just said that it gave her this vibe, and she just didn't feel comfortable. So she made the decision to cut through the cemetery to get to their home. Now, bear in mind, it was about 2:30 when they decided to leave. So by the time they're walking through this cemetery, it's close to 3 a.m. Now, as they're walking through the cemetery, she explains that the cemetery actually wasn't too big, and the pathway through it didn't take too long. But as they were walking, all of a sudden, Grace just stopped in her tracks and stared out towards a bunch of tombstones. Now, Maddie said she was very careful and very sure to only walk the path of the cemetery through one side to the next, that she wasn't walking on any graves, that there wasn't any sort of disrespect towards the cemetery or the resting places of those deceased. So all of a sudden, Grace slams on her brakes, if you will, and she's staring over towards a whole bunch of tombstones. And Maddie's freaked out because it's late at night, and she just wants to get home. And Grace says, "The hooded man." Well, Maddie looks out there, and she does not see a hooded man, but she is freaked out by her sister saying this because of that strange car. She thinks to herself, okay, maybe there's someone lurking, I don't know, but she's looking everywhere and she does not see anything. And on top of that, that car is no longer there. So she's looking around and she doesn't see anything. And she turns to Grace and says, "Grace, there is no hooded man. It's time to go." And she says, "He's calling for me." Whew. So Maddie says, "Who's calling for you?" And Grace doesn't say anything. She just keeps staring. And Maddie's like, "Grace, let's go. Let's go. There's no man." And then she turns to Maddie and says, "He's standing right in front of us." And that's when Maddie realizes, oh my gosh, we're in a cemetery. What is this child seeing? Because Maddie admits that at this point, she's worried about that strange car. She's thinking that there's an actual man lurking around the cemetery watching them. She's not thinking that her younger sister could be seeing a hooded, ghostly man or figure. So this freaks her out. She says, let's go. She pulls her. They start walking. They get through the cemetery. They get home. And as they get through the front door, Grace looks behind her and says, this is our home. Come in. Now, first and foremost, I want to tell you guys something that freaked me out when I read this, because I'm unaware of what this is. I'm unaware of what she's seen or has saw or what's been going on for this like 2 months since. But I will say one thing. Demons need permission to enter a premises. Within a home, a demon needs permission to enter. Within an object, a demon needs permission to enter. So if it were something evil or dark like that, she may have just completely welcomed it in, and that is an absolutely terrifying thought. So Maddie says she locks the door, they go to sleep. Their parents like had waited up to make sure that they made it home okay. Everyone's home, everyone's safe, but that is not where the story ends, because Maddie says that ever since Christmas Eve of this past year, things in their house have completely shifted. It's not like her sister is possessed, not anything like that, but the energy in the house is negative to the point where everyone's always fighting. Her parents are always fighting, things are moving, glasses are breaking, shadows seem to be lurking, and in the middle of the night, close to 3 a.m., she'll sometimes hear her sister talking to nobody. And she has no idea what's just happened. She has no idea what it could be, no idea why these things are happening, but all she knows is that ever since that night and what occurred at that cemetery, certain things in her house that were never amiss now are. And that is basically where the story ends, because this is still incredibly recent. Things could escalate further, and I really hope they don't. I don't know what it is. I don't know enough about the situation to know what exactly it could be that Grace has seen or could have potentially welcomed in. I just know that this story is so freaky, and it really raises a lot of alarm for me just in the fact that she said, come in. That frightens me. So this is where I turn it to you guys as always. I love to read what you guys think of things. I know that Maddie is definitely going to be reading these comments. She gave me 100% permission to turn this over to you guys and to ask you guys what you think of this, what you think could have happened, what you think is going on with her sister, and what you think she should do. And on this note, I'm going to use this as a warning as to be very, very careful walking through a cemetery at 3 a.m. because this story is chilling. And unfortunately, whether you believe in the paranormal or not, you find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time and you might experience something. Well, you guys, that is it for today's video. Like I said, I really wanted to share this before I get into all this other content that I've been working on. I love you guys so very much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the love and support you guys show me. Thank you to those of you who have been here from the beginning, or those of you who have just joined on. Just thank you so much for giving my life so much purpose, for allowing me to come on here and just share things with you guys each and every day. I am so eternally grateful, and this family is the best. If you guys are new to my channel, or you are just not yet subscribed but you do enjoy my videos, I would love it if you would go ahead, click that subscribe button and join the Reese's Pieces. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. It makes my heart really happy to know that you guys enjoy the content that I'm creating, and it just means the world, so please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.